Okay, so this is going to be basically a video that goes over the image generation capabilities of all the different models that exist right now. And when I say image generation, I'm really also talking about image editing. So over the last few days, Google Gemini launched something which was very interesting, and that was basically the image editing feature. So right now you can only access it through the experimental model, I believe. And that means that you have to come all the way to the Google AI Studio. So if you come to aistudio.google.com, you should be able to access this exact same interface. And when you come down to the model selection, you should be able to see Gemini 2.0 Flash Image Generation Experimental. And so with this, there's a couple of things that we can do. But let's just test that out for example, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to grab a simple teacup. So for example, this one, I think this will do. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it into Google Gemini. And so you can see they actually mention it here that you can actually edit the image. So let's just put this cup and let's say add a set biscuits next to it, right? And then we're going to let that run and we're going to see how exactly, it does this, right? Um, So you can see that it actually outputs an image and it shows you that there's a set of biscuits and one of the biscuits has been bitten, which is actually really good. I didn't add that detail, but it just went ahead and inferred that, right? Since we're drinking tea. So that's really nice. And so we can even do more than this. If you're going to do anything else, I would always suggest that you put back the same picture because if you start doing edits on the exact same picture that it's using here, things can start to get out of hand very quickly. So let's just say that I want to do something else. For example, um, fill the cup with coffee and let it overflow over the side. And we're going to let that run. And so we'll see how exactly it does with this particular prompt. Okay, so it got the coffee right. It just didn't make it overflow from the side. So you can see how exactly you can start to use this, right? So you can, if you have any sort of workflow that has any sort of image editing, you could basically come to the Google AI Studio. You could get the image generation, image editing model, and then you could just use it for that. So when Google announced this, people started to use it, and then came the other players in the space. So the other player in the space is Grok, and this is one of the, this they were the second people to come up with it. And so if you go to Grok 3 and then paste an image here, and then we're pretty much just going to get the exact same prompt that we got from the other side. So that is going to be, um, add a set of biscuits next to it. Let's do that. Can't seem to type well. I'm going to turn off the think thing. I just wanted to actually do editing. And so I'm going to send that, and then we're going to wait to see what comes back. Might take a while. Um, yeah, some of the models actually take much longer to generate these images. You just have to be patient, really. But once it does come out, you should be able to see a set of biscuits next to the cup. Interesting. Okay, so it put the biscuits inside of the cup, and then it also put the biscuits outside of the cup. Um, I mean, this is an interesting picture, but you can see that it actually did do the edit. I mean, technically, I didn't tell it where to put the biscuits, so this might also be a correct interpretation. This might not so much be a good interpretation because you see that it's not so um, correct with the way you would expect, the biscuits to maybe appear on the outside. Okay, so we've kind of established that these two models can do image editing. Maybe we can, just for good measure, we can just run the second prompt that we did with Google Gemini as well. Fill the cup with coffee and let it overflow over the side. Okay, so cup coffee and let it overflow from the side. Okay, cool. Oh, I didn't send the image again. Hmm, that might be a problem. Uh, but let's wait and see what it actually gives us. Okay, this might take a while. But let me just try to go over what else happened. So when Google launched this, the image editing, and then Grok went ahead and launched its own version of image editing. So the hype really came over the last day when OpenAI actually launched their own version of the exact same technology, and not just the exact same version. Um, I would say that it actually supersedes both of these. This is really good actually. So Grok actually went ahead and made sure that it's also overflowing over the side, right? So you can also see this, although the image itself, you can see that the image quality is starting to degrade because we're using the exact same image over time. If I had got the image and then pasted it again and then put the prompt, it probably would look much better. But this is something that's passable. Like if you just wanted a cup and you just wanted to, Photoshop this into something else, this would make sense. But um, then we come to ChatGPT's version. So when you come to GPT 4.0, there's so many models, but you literally have GPT 4.0 and then just paste the image. And so we're going to do the exact same prompt and, fill the cup with coffee and let it overflow over the side. Oh, that was the second. So add a set of biscuits next to it. I think I'll just copy and paste this since we don't need the image too much. Right. This might take even longer than the other two. I am not yet sure. I'm also trying this out for the first time. I have seen a couple of demos about this, and I just want to make sure that we can see how it performs. But from the my initial understanding, ChatGPT's version or OpenAI's version seems to be much better at following instructions than the other two that actually came out a week earlier. So it's going to be very interesting to actually see how it does in regards to this particular prompt. And then I think we'll try to make a really difficult prompt, and then we'll try to give it to all three models, and we'll see how it performs, how they perform on that. Um, I'm really trying to make a poster, and I might have to generate the prompt for the poster just so that we can be able to uh, go ahead and actually do that and actually make it try out for the different models. So yeah, this takes extremely long to actually do this, to do the editing. Uh, but we can, you see it's starting to load out. But for the meantime, I guess we can just go ahead and start a new conversation, and then we can also try to make that prompt, right? So we want, you know, make me a prompt for a poster. It must be detailed about uh, the movie Caroline. I'll tell it to look it up and make it as descriptive as possible. All right. So I want to send this. I like using Grok to kind of put out prompts. And then I just use those to, prompt other models. Of course, you can use any model. There's no reason as to why you'd use Grok for something like this, but you can just do anything, right? So, um, all right. So let's see if it actually got the right one to begin with. Um, wow, I actually got the, Oh yeah, I think it did get the right one. Let me just check this out. Yes, so this is actually the movie I was talking about, or cartoon in actual sense. Anyway, so this is what we want. We want this. Right, so let's take all of this and then we're going to give it to all three models and we're just going to see how it performs. But maybe we'll just read through just to understand what we're looking out for. So, a striking atmospheric poster of 2009 stop motion dark movie film Caroline, directed by this person. Okay, 11 years old, vividly contrast at the centers, feature Caroline, a small. Okay, interesting. Yes, the yellow raincoat is going to be something very interesting. Short blue hair is also something very interesting. Um, okay, depicts a real world, and then the other side, there's a person. Okay, cool. I feel like this actually captures everything that I'm actually trying to get. So with that, I'm just going to get a new prompt here, and we are still in the image generation model. Okay, I'm just going to paste this in. All right, and then we're going to actually see. So I don't know how Google Gemini is going to put. Wait. Okay, that's interesting. This might actually literally have just generated the actual poster itself. Uh, let's actually wait and see what exactly this gives us. So let me take this uh, and give this to Grok and see what it gives us. So this is taking some time to generate. I don't know if Google cheated, but that's going to be very interesting. Yeah, but I think both models have the idea about Caroline, right? Because it's a fairly old movie, right? So you can see that it captures the whole thing about like blue the blue hair, the raincoat, and this looks exactly like the character. So I don't know what to think. Okay, let's see this. No, but it didn't capture exactly what I wanted. Because it would have to have half, real world, and then half the other half would have to be the fake world. We're going to try with another prompt, which maybe is not the same, but you can see this, right? So we told it to add a set of biscuits next to it, and this is the output image. So if we actually look at it even closer, that looks really smooth. That looks like really, really good, actually. And the biscuits look way more believable than the other bunch. Even the tea looks more believable because of the shadows and everything. So you can see like the streak here as well. So that is really nice. Okay, so let's try to give it that prompt that we wanted. And let's see what it produces. So that might take a while as well. But I don't know if there's actually a Caroline poster that looks like this, because I feel like Google might have cheated. Okay, let's wait and see. Interesting. So maybe the poster doesn't exist, or maybe it does, but we'll just never know, right? But you can see it looks exactly like the character though that we're trying to actually, have depicted, which is why I thought for a second that it had actually gone ahead and just copied something. So I think where it's going to get different is in the details. So for example, at the center, Caroline, and then you can see that there's two worlds. On one side of the poster depicts the real world with her distracted parents. Um, yeah, so already you can see that on this side it didn't quite do that correctly. But it does get the contrast between the two worlds correctly. So this looks more like the fantasy world that is supposed to be in the opposite world, right? Sinister, and then the other mother. So that I'm guessing that's what this depicts, right? Um, and then above Caroline, slightly warped letters, place is the title Caroline in a deep crimson. Okay, so above Caroline. So this didn't do it correctly, right? Because we have this below. So I'm really curious to see how exactly this performs. So this also didn't get it right. It did get more details correct. So you have the parents in the background, they're distracted, and then you have the secondary place, and then maybe you have the actual, this might be the secondary mother. Um, and yeah, and this one didn't get it right. But let's see how ChatGPT is coming along. Oh, interesting. So it says that this is a copyrighted character. Okay, hold up. Let us generate another prompt then. Um, so make me a prompt, super detailed for a poster about gym classes happening in a random town in the world, and it must be in a playful art style. How about actually we do this? How about we choose to go for a Fallout style? In Fallout style graphics. Okay, we'll do this. I think it was Fallout 22. I actually don't remember. So I will send this and then we'll see what happens. Okay, so we're going to get exactly this. We are not going to edit anything. We are going to put this here, and then we're going to tell it to generate that. We are going to also create a new prompt, and we're going to tell it to generate that. Last time it took a few seconds. Let's see what this has. Yeah, so you can see the problem with Google Gemini is that once you give it so many things to do, the words become inconsistent and you really can't actually read them, right? But you can see Vault Fit Gym, Strength for the Wasteland, Survive Strong, right? It has the themes that we would want with from the Fallout game. Um, right. So you can see that. Okay, let's just come here and let's see. So this has Dusty Fit Gym. You can still see that the words are not looking right. The same here. But it does have the characters, and I guess it does get the Fallout background right. Um, let's try this and see how it actually plays out. Might take a while. This again, I feel like this is something that is generally going to be really useful for people who are trying to do things like graphics design, people who are trying to do things like, just creating your own graphics really from scratch has become easier than ever. So even if you just took this, um, even if you just took this and you were able to start from this and then you just, keep on iterating, you probably get something nice. Even this as well, right? ChatGPT seems to be having some issues. It looks like there was an error while trying to generate your image, so I wasn't able to create the poster as requested. If you'd like me try again. Okay, I will send the same prompt again and see. So one key thing that I'm really looking out for is the text. I'm trying to see how consistent the text is across various places, right? So we have the times and then we have the different days when those things are actually happening, right? Um, so there's a lot of information, right? But you can already see that the tagline is strength for the wasteland, survive strong. So that is actually being put here, strength for the wasteland, and then you have vault fit gym, right? Okay, so we have that here as well. Um, okay, so there's a Nuka-Cola vending machine repurposed as a water station and a radio. So you can see that it's in the background. Okay, Dusty Hollow, it got that as well. There's a mushroom cloud in the horizon. They got that as well. Um, so you can see that it also has like a ripped tank top, cargo shorts, and then combat boots for the character. So that's working out. And then we can see the schedule. You have the all the things that were actually posted. Let me just get these now and just put them here so that we can compare that really well. Yeah, actually, 6 p.m. So I didn't get it might be too much information. So it didn't get the actual times correct, 10 a.m., but everything else it did, right? Um, let's see. Yep, that looks right. And then at the bottom, put a sign up to the overseer's desk. Yep, and then it will have located at 22, at Vault 22. Yes, that's actually what I was trying to say, actually. It's a Vault 22, not Fallout 22. Um, yeah, so this is actually really good. So, I mean, if you can just see, this is what you've generated from just one prompt, right? And then it's actually gone ahead and put the class schedule twice, and it's made a few mistakes here and there, but it's very possible for you to try generating this again, and maybe the next time it will actually come out. So this is really interesting, right? So you can generate almost anything that you can think of, really, and it's going to try to put text that is coherent, which was not the case for the other two. And you can even go ahead and then you can select some certain things and then you can change them. So for example, I could just select this and then I can say, you know, remove this schedule, and it will go ahead and then it will make the change to that particular part of the image. So you can use this in any particular way that you want to, but you can start iterating with it, playing around with it, and finally, I think it's going to be really interesting for a bunch of people. Okay, so the image never finished generating, which is sad, but we can do a couple of other things. Let's try to actually generate some more images. So you might be here and you might be here because of the anime stuff. So how do you do the anime stuff, right? So you can get any image. I do conveniently have a tab full of persons here that we can copy. I guess we'll be going with this gentleman. Um, I hope this is stock footage that you can actually use. Uh, anyway, just going to paste in that image, and we are going to say, make this into a Studio Ghibli anime, and you just send it, right? So if you do not know, there is a studio that is called Studio Ghibli. So Studio Ghibli made a lot of interesting cartoons back in the days. You might know some of them, My Friend Totoro and Howl's Moving Castle, so many, right? So this is the art style. So you can actually sort of see that this is sort of the art style. Very interesting character designs and everything. Um, so we are trying to emulate this look and feel. And these characters were drawn by um, Miyazaki. You know, he passed away, the late Miyazaki, actually. So he passed away. And so he was really good at drawing this. So let's see what we have so far. Yeah, it definitely takes a long period of time. I would not recommend just sitting around and waiting. Um, but besides that, we are also going to try something else. We're going to try to actually come up with a very uh a huge set of other things. So let's take the teacup that we had earlier. Okay. And then let's take the person picture that we have actually come together. We have selected, and I'm going to say make the person drink from the cup. Okay, so you can see that we are starting to get out the image, but everything is looking good so far. It has the glasses, it has the hairstyle down. Um, it really even has the shirt. I don't know what's missing. So it's looking really good. I would say that this is a really good adaptation if you wanted to make this into an anime form. It looks nice. It's passable. Is it as good as the original? Uh, that's a whole other discussion. But I feel like if you just wanted something as an anime picture, this definitely passes. So let's see how it does on this. If I give it two different pictures, and I'm giving it two, but you could give it three, you could give it four, you could give it five, right? You give it as many pictures as possible, and you could make it craft all these things into one picture, right? So it doesn't have to be that you are limited to one picture. No, you could literally have images, you could have pictures, you could have text prompts. And this is why I'm saying that you could literally think of any sort of graphics work that you need to get done, and it's very possible for you to do it in this day and age, right? Especially with such tools. So you, with the right prompting, you will definitely be able to come up with, you know, the post that you always wanted and all these other things. So again, this might take a while. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So it's taken the image that we've given it. It's taken the person's image as well. It's still maintained that, Studio Ghibli anime style, and then it's made the person actually drink from the cup. So you can just imagine, like, what can we do with this? Like, you could literally take, I don't know, what are you trying to sell? Are you trying to sell like some energy drink, so you can get that energy drink and you can put that on a model as long as you get their consent, of course, and then you can use that to actually create edits, right? And you don't need to do any advanced Photoshop or anything like that. So I feel like this is a very interesting thing where, like, now you're doing edits, and and it literally made him also pick up the saucer that's at the bottom. And I feel like that's really nice, actually, that the fact that it paid attention to details and it kept the buttons consistent. Yeah, that's really nice. That's really, really good. So yeah, this is something else. So if you want to play around with it, I highly suggest that you do. And here's another thing. You can just come here if you want to edit any section. We're not going to do that, but you can actually tell it to, we're just going to close this out, and then we're going to say make it transparent. And what this should do is that it should actually be able to make the background of the image actually transparent, right? So if you wanted to just take this into Canva and just start doing something with it, right from here, you'll be able to do it, right? Oh, okay, cool. So it didn't finish, sadly. I think it's still creating. I don't know if it will finish, but you can see that it's actually transparent in the background. So you can just literally copy and paste this somewhere else. And it also didn't maintain the state between the two, which might be a problem. But I'm sure if you give it the exact image that you want to, have made transparent, it will be able to do that. So you don't even need literal, like, background image cropping services. This could actually be helpful. So let's see. I like this character. How about we make him into a Sims character, right? So let's say we're building out a game and we want to take this to the next level. So I'm just going to paste this here, and then I'm going to say make him a sim character and give me his look in The Sims 4. So I've intentionally left out a lot of information. Usually in Sims, you are probably going to have like that um, diamond on the head, right? Oh, okay, so it's giving me the text. Interesting. So it's giving me like all the details that you need for the character. Okay, create the image of this. Let's see if we can actually create the image, but I'm intentionally leaving out a lot of information because we know that if you've played the Sims game, you know that there's actually like a diamond at the top of the characters that shows that this character is actually active. There's a whole lot of the environment that also needs to be painted out, you know, and I just want to see how it handles that and also how it shows you like the different things that are going on with the character. Um, yeah, so this is going to be very interesting. But you can see if you wanted to make a game, it's very possible for you to just make assets using this. And then you can take any 2D to 3D tool that exists out there on the market. You could convert your character to 3D, not saying that this can't. It actually also can do 3D if you prompt it the right way, and it can give you like 3D looking images, and then you can just bounce those out to take them to another application, and then you can start making game assets that you can then import into JavaScript and all these different frameworks, right? So it's going to be really nice to see that, and it's going to be something that I'm actually going to experiment with in the next few days, just seeing if we can make a game with some of the assets that have been created already. So that is a Sims character. That is actually a very correct. I would say that's a really correct Sims character. So let's try. I don't know if if you've seen this, but Sims 4. So this is how the characters look like, right? Um, that's how the characters look like, and I feel like the style is on point. You literally have the characters, and they look um exaggerated. They have exaggerated features. And so this might be a good representation. So I'll say show the character in game. Or we started from just this picture, right? And now we have like the actual Sims character that we're going to actually put into the game. And now we're going to see how it actually looks like within the game, right? Okay, so it's actually starting to slowly show the picture. And I think it looks good so far. So just look at the consistency, right? So the hairstyle is pretty much the same. The glasses are the same, except for, of course, like the metal bits that are on the side. It seems to have removed them. The shirt has remained very consistent across the whole thing. And for me, I think this is really good. It got the whole diamond thing at the top absolutely correct. And if you told me this was out of Sims, I probably would believe you, right? If like I was just interacting with the character, this seems accurate. This seems like so you can actually see the different ways that people are going to start using this. People are going to start using this in game design. People are going to start using this in animation styles. You can also throw in your own sketches and be able to get something out. um yeah, I feel like now is the time for you to experiment and play around with it and just see what you can come up with. So thank you for watching this. Let me know what ways you actually think about using, you might think about using this. And yeah, till the next video, um, I'll see you guys.